So yeah, I just got out of the theater roughly an hour ago. My brain is still recovering from what I just witnessed. Alright, welcome to the spoiler-free review of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We're going to include a couple things here. We're going to talk about the basic setup of the movie so you know what to expect going in. Again, spoiler-free. We're going to talk about what you should know as a parent in regards to content, so you know if there's any potential content landmines for you or your family or your younger viewers. And then 3, we're going to talk about the quality of the film in regards to recommendations, who's going to like this film, who this film is best played for, and why it's any good, if it's any good, which it is. This is the sequel to the 2018 film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. You need to see that film. If you haven't seen that film, you should not go to see this film. If you have seen that film and you like that film, you have to see this film. You have to. You owe it to yourself to see this film. Next thing you need to know is this is movie part 1 of 2. So this film is not going to wrap everything up. It's going to leave you in a pretty wanting place. And you're going to want the sequel to come out tomorrow. But it comes out next year. So know that. There's some people that went to my screening that didn't know it was a part 1 of 2. And they were pretty frustrated because they needed to know what happened. So just know that going in. Also know that this movie is rated PG. I don't agree with that rating. This movie should have been rated PG-13. Not because it has extensive content, but because it takes what we saw in the original one and it ratchets everything up on higher degrees of intensity. And it's just more mature. Miles Morales is an older character, and he's dealing with more mature themes, and for younger kids, doesn't play the best. All right, welcome to the Parent Recon Report. As I mentioned before, this movie really probably should have been rated PG-13, and it probably should have been rated PG-13 mostly because it's more intense and it's more mature than the original. When I talk about intensity, there's more violence in this one, and the violence is more intense. There's not a lot of deaths, there's not blood, but it's just more intense. The situations are more intense. The cinematography, the way they film things, it's all more intense in this one. The younger kids, it's gonna be a little bit harder for them to process that. And there's a lot happening from a story perspective. The story is more complex, and it takes more mature minds to understand what's going on. So this is not targeted or appropriate for those younger viewers, those 4 to 6, 7, 8-year-old, kind of depending on your kids' attention level and their own maturity to be able to understand some more complex ideas. So just know that. The show, unlike the original one, does have a little bit of adult language. I counted 3 to 5 curse words. There's a D word, an H word, I think an S word, but it was no more than 4 or 5 curse words. The curse words are there, so if you're one of those parents that doesn't want your kids to be exposed to any swearing, just know that going into this. Anything else, there wasn't any sexual content, there wasn't any woke messaging, at least not anything that was really in your face. And other negative elements, really nothing else that you need to worry about. But this is, again, a more mature, intense film. That's it for the Parent Recon Report. As far as the things that I liked about this show, the list is long. The first thing I want to talk about is the visuals. I loved the visuals in the original. I thought it was just so different the way they chose to render the characters in the world. But this one, because it's across the Spider-Verse and we're looking at different universes, again, I'm not going to get into any spoilers here, we get to see artistic renderings of different universes that have different rules in terms of how they look and how they feel. And those renderings are mind-blowing and beautiful. And the things that they do with framing, where they'll have several different frames and images on the screen at the same time, depicting different characters and different worlds, was spectacular. It was honestly like watching a movie as a young kid and you're seeing worlds that you didn't know could be produced for movies. Like when I saw Avatar for the first time, or Jurassic Park, or Star Wars, it was that type of feeling where you're like, wow, I've never seen a movie look like this. I didn't know movies could look like this. Just know that the visuals on this are, in my book, a perfect 10. In fact, it's really an 11 because I didn't know it could get this good. But what's great about that is it doesn't stop at the visuals. The story in this is just absolutely spellbinding. The characters that we know and love from the original ones are built upon: Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy. But they also introduce other characters that are really interesting and unique and fun. And they have their own special rendering and character traits that just pull you into the story. The villain in this is very unique. He's not a throwaway villain. He's unique and he's interesting and he has a bit of a backstory. He's capable and he's threatening and he's complex. The story is just so gripping. You can really tell that the people that made this movie took their time to craft not only a visual look, but a story that made a lot of sense, that was compelling, that was unique, that wasn't a rip-off of anything else. Just amazing. And then thirdly, the humor in this lands on multiple levels. There's just so many fun lines, fun situations, fun Easter eggs. The Easter eggs in this abound. I'm gonna have to watch this multiple times to pick up all the Easter eggs from all the Spider-Man worlds and all the references. They just absolutely will blow your mind. And they're not just throwaway Easter eggs that they just put in there to put in there. Like, they make sense where they put them and they add to the story in really meaningful and interesting ways. So those are the three main reasons that I just absolutely was blown away by this film. In regards to critiques, personally, my own personal opinion, I have zero critiques with this film. And that's really, really rare. There's nothing I would change. Literally nothing. But I am gonna give some critiques that I think some people might have. People that didn't love the first one, probably not gonna love this one. Because it takes everything that the original one did well and it does it even better and bigger and more intensely. It's a long movie. It's over 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is, I believe it's the record for the longest Hollywood produced animated film in wide release. So it's a long movie. So some people might think it's too long. And the story is more complex and it comes at you fast. And so I didn't find it hard to follow overall, but some people might find it a bit much. And for some parents, you know, that had kids that really, really liked the original one, especially younger kids, they might be a little disappointed that this is more mature and not as appropriate for younger audiences. Again, personally, I wouldn't change a thing, but those are gonna be some critiques that some people are gonna have with this film. All right, let's wrap this up. So, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was my favorite animated movie of all time. And I have a lot of animated movies that I really like, but that was my favorite. At least it was my favorite. This easily surpasses it. And I say that respectfully, because it had to have the original to be built on. But this one absolutely blew my mind in ways that my mind hardly ever gets blown anymore. I watch a lot of movies. I rarely get this feeling when I watch a movie. It's the score, and I didn't even talk about the music. The music, again, was amazing. The sound effects were spectacular. The look, the characters, the voice acting, everything comes together in a way that movies like this rarely ever do. Again, you could tell that the movie makers spent a lot of time, a lot of love and effort in making every frame of this movie. And they all had a purpose and they all intertwined and added to the narrative in meaningful ways. Nothing's wasted here. And so, in regards to a recommendation, I couldn't give this a higher recommendation. Again, if you like Spider-Man, you like superhero movies, you like the original Into the Spider-Verse, you have to go see this, and you need to go see this on the biggest screen as soon as possible. Just point blank. My favorite movie of the year, easily. I highly doubt any movie is going to surpass this movie. It's that good. In regards to a rating, as before I don't have any critiques. This is a perfect 10 out of 10 for me. And again, I don't do that hardly ever. And this is the first time on this channel that I've given that, but it's easily a 10 out of 10. As soon as the credits started to roll, I was like, this is a 10 out of 10. This is that good of a movie. And this is not hyperbole. If you look at other people's reviews, they're saying the same thing. I know there's always a danger in giving someone a really high expectation, but my expectations were pretty high for this film, and they were exceeded, which again, is really rare. So that's all I've got for now. Thanks for stopping by. Like, subscribe. If you've seen the movie, leave your comments below. Let's start a conversation. I'll go see this multiple times. Let me know if you've seen it, are you gonna see it again? I think it's one of the few movies that it really, really demands that you see it multiple times. But anyways, till next time, have a great day.